Here's a classic suburban conundrum. What to do when kikuyu grass is growing from your neighbour's side, under the fence and into your garden? Well, you'll need to install a root barrier at least 500 millimetres deep to stop the underground rhizomes from coming across. It's also important to keep it proud of the soil by about 50 to 75 mil to stop the runners also growing over the top. Now, this will work for other running grass types as well, and it's a great way to keep your nosy neighbours at bay.
How do you stop your hose dragging all over your garden? Well, it's a problem I've had myself, so I've installed this very high-tech hose guide. It's just an old garden fork, and you could even use one that's got a couple of tines missing. It'll work just as well. All you need to do is secure it in position and then you thread the hose through, and then any time you need to pull that hose around a corner, the garden bed's safe.
Is it safe to water your plants at midday? In the past, we were always told not to do so because the water droplets on the leaves can magnify the sun's rays and they can burn. Well, this is actually incorrect because if you think about it, the evaporation rate will take all that water away anyway. The best time to water is early in the morning when the plant can use all that water. Make sure you water at root level, not over the foliage. It's a waste.
What's a good palm to grow in your garden? Why not try one of our natives? Naturally occurring in rainforest, they will grow into a very tall palm tree, like this bangalow palm, or up home we call them the piggy palm. Beautiful specimen. Best of all, the palm fronds will drop completely away from the trunk, so there's no need to get up and try and clean them up. The other thing that's really good about these, being a rainforest species, you can grow them indoors. So why not have a try? Can you grow rainforest species outside of the tropics? Well, yes, you can. Lots of different types of rainforest. In fact, it's about 7 different types. I'm here on the edge of a littoral rainforest. And littoral rainforests are rainforests that grow within 2 kilometres of the ocean. So given that littoral rainforests are a critically endangered ecosystem, why not have a go at growing some of these beautiful specimens? Things like the elkhorn or piggy palm. Lots of terrestrial orchids grow in and around rainforests. So if you are in an area that has rainforest, why not look at some of those species for your own backyard and do your bit for the environment? People often ask, how do I know if a plant is a weed? Well, a weed is really just a plant in the wrong place. And there are also officially declared weeds and invasive species. And there are plenty of resources out there to find out what's what. Now, weeds can have a devastating effect on local ecosystems and plant communities. And with 65% of weeds being garden escapees, we really need to think carefully about our plant selections. But as most gardeners know, it's hard to walk past a weed without wanting to pull one out.
Some plants produce aerial roots, which is where they grow above the ground rather than under the soil. But why do they do this? Well, it depends on the plant. For example, mangroves use aerial roots to help them get air. Epiphytes, like some types of fern, bromeliad or orchid, use them to fix onto vertical surfaces. And plants like this monstera also use aerial roots to help them get moisture from the air and also help them support themselves as they ramble up things like tree trunks or this totem post. What a fascinating adaptation.
Why does the rose on my watering can face upwards? Well, I can show you why. If it faces upwards, it produces very small droplets over a larger area. And that's perfect if you're watering seedlings or cuttings. It doesn't disturb them or wash them out of seed trays. But some roses can turn around this way. And in this position, you actually get larger droplets over a smaller area, and you can really drench plants and give them a deep watering. Having a watering can that allows you to water with the rose in either position is ideal. And that's why I've got one of these.
Gardeners often are uncertain about when to prune plants, but I find if you're observant, the plants often tell you when they need a haircut. This particular plant here is a nepeta called Six Hills Giant, a gorgeous thing that gets to about 1 metre high. But after its first flush of flowers, the foliage actually flops out everywhere and looks really daggy. And if you look down here at the base, you can see all this new growth coming up. It's telling me that it wants to get rid of the old foliage, and then the new foliage will give me a second crop of flowers. So learn to read your plants and it will make gardening easier and your plants look better.